Thank you so much for being here tonight. Welcome to the Archway Bard Competition. We are so excited to celebrate these finalists and their accomplishments. I think when I think about the Bard Competition and the legacy that it's had in our network, I think a couple of things. I think the first thing that I think we're really celebrating tonight, and that these students are really us, is music. And that's something that we all care deeply about, and these beautiful words that have been passed down and lasted the test of time are now being brought to life by these students, and that is something that is really worth celebrating. And I'm really happy we get to do that tonight. The other thing that I think we're really celebrating is courage. It takes a lot of courage for any person to memorize a poem and then stand in front of an audience and recite it. And these 12 students have done that now. This is their third time. So that courage is also really worth celebrating. So, without any further ado, we will begin. A couple of housekeeping things. If you need to step out for any reason, please try to do that in between recitations, just because it can be a little bit distracting if there's movement or sound during a recitation, so do your best to do that. And then after the competition is over, after all the students have recited, the judges will take some time to deliberate, and we will ask for you all to step out into the courtyard. We'll have some light refreshments. You can spend time together, and then we'll invite everyone back in to announce the winner and the runner-up. Okay, thank you again all for being here, and we will get started.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Molly Corkum. I'm a fifth grader representing Great Hearts Archway Lincoln in Chandler, Arizona. I will be reciting one of my favorite ballad poems, Excelsior, reminding us to go ever upward. Excelsior by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The shades of night were falling fast, as through an alpine village passed a youth who bore amid snow and ice a banner with a strange device, Excelsior. His brow was sad, his eye beneath flashed like a falchion from its sheath. and like a silver clarion rung the accents of that unknown tongue, Excelsior! In happy homes he saw the light of household fires gleam warm and bright. Above, the spectral glaciers shone, and from his lips escaped a groan, Excelsior! Try not the pass, the old man said. Dark lowers the tempest overhead. The roaring torrent is deep and wide, and loud that clarion voice replied, Excelsior! Oh, stay, the maiden said, and rest thy weary head upon this breast. A tear stood in his bright blue eye, but still he answered with a sigh, Excelsior! Beware the pine tree's withered branch, beware the awful avalanche. This was the peasant's last good night. A voice replied far up the height, Excelsior! At break of day, as heavenward, the pious monks of St. Bernard uttered the oft-repeated prayer, a voice cried through the startled air, Excelsior! A traveler, by the faithful hound, half buried in the snow was found, still grasping in his hands of ice that banner with the strange device, Excelsior! There in the twilight, cold and gray, lifeless but beautiful he lay, and from the sky, serene and far, a voice fell like a falling star, Excelsior!
Hello, everyone. I'm Tucker French, and I'll be presenting One Fine Day in the Middle of the Night. One Fine Day in the Middle of the Night by Anonymous. Ladies and gentlemen, skinny and stout, I'll tell you a tale I know nothing about. The admission is free, so pay at the door. Now pull up a chair and sit on the floor. One fine day in the middle of the night, two dead boys got up to fight. Back to back, they faced each other, drew their swords, and shot each other. A blind man came to watch fair play. A mute man came to shout, hooray! A deaf policeman heard the noise and came to stop those two dead boys. He lived on the corner in the middle of the block, on a two-story house in a vacant lot. A man with no legs came walking by and kicked the lawman in his thigh. He crashed through a wall without making a sound into a dry bed creek and suddenly drowned. The long black hearse came to cart him away, but he ran for his life and is still gone today. I watched from the corner of the big round table, the only eyewitness to the facts of my fable. But if you doubt my lies are true, just ask the blind man. He saw it too. One fine day in the middle of the night by Anonymous.
Hello, my name is Benson Gillespie, and I will be reciting The Duel by Eugene Field. The gingham dog and the calico cat, side by side on the table sat. 'Twas 12:30, and what do you think? Nor one nor t'other had slept a wink. The old Dutch clock and the Chinese plate appeared to know, as sure as fate, there was going to be a terrible spat. I wasn't there. I simply state what was told to me by the Chinese plate. The gingham dog went bow wow wow, and the calico cat replied meow, and the air was littered an hour or so with bits of gingham and calico, while the old Dutch clock in the chimney place, up with its hands before its face, for always dreaded a family row. Now mind, I'm only telling you what the old Dutch clock declares is true. The Chinese plate looked very blue and wailed, "Oh dear, what shall we do?" But the gingham dog and the calico cat rolled this way and tumbled that, employing every tooth and claw in the awfulest way you ever saw, and oh, how the gingham and calico flew. Don't fancy I exaggerate. I got my news from the Chinese plate. Next morning, where the two had sat, they found no trace of dog or cat. And some folks think, unto this day, that burglars stole that pair away. But the truth about the cat and pup is this: they ate each other up. Now, what do you really think of that? The old Dutch clock, it told me so, and that is how I came to know.
Hello, my name is Ariana Lopez, and today I am going to be reciting Nobility by Alice Carey. True worth is in being, not seeming, in doing each day that goes by. Some little good, not in dreaming, of great things to do by and by. For whatever men say in their blindness, and spite of the fancies of youth, there's nothing so kingly as kindness, and nothing so royal as truth. We get back our meat as we measure. We cannot do wrong and feel right, nor can we give pain and gain pleasure, for justice avenges each sight. The air for the wing of the sparrow, the bush for the robin and wren, but always the path that is narrow and straight for the children of men. 'Tis not in the pages of story, the heart of his ills to beguile, though he who makes courtship to glory gives all that he hath for her smile. For when from her heights he has won her, alas, it is only to prove that nothing so sacred as honor, and nothing so loyal as love. We cannot make bargains for blisses, nor catch them like fishes in nets. And sometimes the thing our life misses helps more than the thing which it gets. For good lieth not in pursuing, nor gaining of great nor of small, but just in the doing and doing, as we would be done by us all. Through envy, through malice, through hating, against the world early and late, no jot of our courage abating, our part is to work and to wait. And slight is the sting of his troubles, whose winnings are less than his worth, for he whom is honest and noble, whatever his fortunes or birth.
Matilda, who told lies and was burned to death, by Hilaire Belloc. Matilda told such dreadful lies, it made one gasp and stretch one's eyes. Her aunt, who from her earliest youth had kept a strict regard for truth, attempted to believe Matilda. That effort very nearly killed her, and would have done so had not she discovered this infirmity. For once, towards the close of day, Matilda, growing tired of play, and finding she was left alone, went tiptoe to the telephone, and summoned the immediate aid of London's noble fire brigade. Within an hour the gallant band were pouring in on every hand, from Putney, Hackney, Downs, and Bow. With courage high and hearts aglow, they galloped roaring through the town. Matilda's house is burning down! Inspired by British cheers and loud proceeding from the frenzied crowd, they ran their ladders through a score of windows on the ballroom floor, and took peculiar pains to souse the pictures up and down the house, until Matilda's aunt succeeded in showing them they were not needed, and even then she had to pay to get the men to go away. It happened that a few weeks later, her aunt was off to the theater to see that interesting play, The Second Mrs. Tanqueray. She had refused to take her niece to hear this entertaining piece, a deprivation just and wise, to punish her for telling lies. That night a fire did break out. You should have heard Matilda shout. You should have heard her scream and bawl, and throw the window up and call to people passing in the street, the rapidly increasing heat encouraging her to obtain their confidence, but all in vain. For every time she shouted, "Fire!" they only answered, "Little liar." And therefore, when her aunt returned, Matilda and the house were burned.
Hello, I am Aurelius Machado from Archway Arte, and today I will be reciting The Chimney Sweeper by William Blake. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. There's little Tom Dacre, who cried when his head, that curled like a lamb's back, was shaved. So I said, Hush, Tom, never mind it, for when your head's bare, you know that the soot cannot spoil your white hair. And so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was sleeping, he had such a sight, that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them locked up in coffins of black. And by came an angel who had a bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing, they run, and wash in a river, and shine in the sun. Then naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise upon clouds and sport in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he'd be a good boy, he'd have God for his father, and never want joy. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark, and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm.
Hello, my name is Leah MacArthur, and I am in 4th grade. I will be reciting Romeo and Juliet, Act 4, Scene 3 by William Shakespeare. What if it be a poison, which the friar subtly hath ministered to have me dead, lest in this marriage he should be dishonored because he married me before to Romeo? I fear it is, and yet methinks it should not, for he hath still been tried a holy man. How if, when I am laid into the tomb, I wake before the time that Romeo come to redeem me? There's a fearful point. Shall I not then be stifled in the vault, to whose foul mouth no healthsome air breathes in? and there die strangled ere my Romeo comes. Or, if I live, is it not very like the horrible conceit of death and night, together with the terror of the place, as in a vault, an ancient receptacle, wherefore these many 100 years the bones of all my buried ancestors are packed? Where bloody Tybalt, yet but green in earth, lies festering in his shroud, where, as they say, at summers in the night, spirits resort. Alack, alack, is it not like that I, so early waking, what with loathsome smells and shrieks like mandrakes torn out of the earth, that living mortals hearing them run mad? Oh, if I wake, shall I not be distraught, environed with all these hideous fears, and madly play with my forefathers' joints, and pluck the mangled Tybalt from his shroud? And in this rage, with some great kinsman's bone, as with the club, dash out my desperate brains! Oh, look! Methinks I see my cousin's ghost, seeking out Romeo, that had spit his body upon a rapier's point. Stay, Tybalt, stay! Romeo! Romeo? Romeo. Here's drink. I drink to thee. Good evening. My name is Nora Neihart. Tonight I will recite Forgiven by A. Milne. I found a little beetle, so that beetle was his name, and I called him Alexander, and he answered just the same. I put him in a matchbox and kept him all the day. And Nanny let my beetle out. Yes, Nanny let my beetle out. She went and let my beetle out. And Beetle ran away. She said she didn't mean it, and I never said she did. She said she wanted matches, and she just took off the lid. She said that she was sorry, but it's difficult to catch an excited sort of beetle you've mistaken for a match. She said that she was sorry, and I really mustn't mind, as there's lots and lots of beetles she's certain we could find if we looked about the garden for the holes where beetles hid, and we'd get another matchbox and write beetle on the lid. We went to all the places which a beetle might be near, and we made the sort of noises which a beetle likes to hear. And I saw a kind of something, and it gave a sort of shout, "A beetle house and Alexandra Beetle coming out!" It was Alexander Beetle, as certain as can be, and he had a sort of look as if he thought, "It must be me." And he had a sort of look as if he thought he ought to say, "I'm very, very sorry that I tried to run away." And Nanny's very sorry too, for you know what she did. And she's writing Alexander very blackly on the lid. So Nan and me are friends because it's difficult to catch an excited Alexander you've mistaken for a match. Thank you. Hi, my name is Cora, and today I will be reciting Dirge by James Shirley. The glories of our blood and state are shadows, not substantial things. There is no armor against fate. Death lays his icy hand on kings. Scepter and crown must tumble down, and in the dust be equal made with the poor crooked scythe and spade. Some men with swords may reap the field and plant fresh laurels where they kill. But their strong nerves at last must yield. They tame but one another still. Early or late, they stoop to fate and must give up their murmuring breath when they, pale captives, creep to death. The garlands wither on your brow, then boast no more your mighty deeds. Upon death's purple altar, now see where the victor
septum bleeds. Your heads must come to the cold tomb. Only the actions of the just smell sweet and blossom in their dust.
Hello, my name is Emma Schmidt, and today I'll be reciting The Naughty Doll by Eugene Field. The Naughty Doll by Eugene Field. My dolly is a dreadful care. Her name is Miss Amandy. I dress her up and curl her hair and feed her taffy candy, yet heedless of the pleading voice of her devoted mother. She will not wed her mother's choice, but says she'll wed another. I'd have her wed the china vase. There is no dreadsome rare. You might go searching every place and never find a fair. He's a gentle, pinkish youth, of that there's no denying. Yet, when I think of him, forsooth, Amandy falls to crying. She loves the drum, that's very plain, and scorns the case so clever, and weeping vows she will remain a spinster doll forever. The protestations of the drum, I am convinced, are hollow. When once distressing times should come, how soon would ruin follow? Yet all in vain the Dresden boy from yonder mantle woos her, a maniac for that vertical toy, the noisy drum imbues her. In vain I wheel her to and fro, and reason with her mildly. Her waxen tears in torrents flow, her sawdust heart beats wildly. I'm sure that when I'm big and tall, and wear long trailing dresses, I shan't encourage bows at all, till Mama acquiesces. Our choice will be a suitor then, as pretty as this vase is. Oh, how I'll hate the noisy men, with whiskers on their faces.
My name is River Tabor, and I will be reciting How the Great Guest Came by Edwin Markham. Before the cathedral in grandeur rose, at Ingleburg where the Danube flows, before its forest of silver spires went airily up to the clouds and fires, before the oak had ready a beam, while yet the arch was stone and dream. There, where the altar was later laid, honored the cobbler plied his trade, doubled all day on his busy bench, hard at his cobbling for master and hench. He pounded away at a brisk rat-tat, shearing and shaping with pull and pat. Hide well hammered and pegs sent home, till the shoe was fit for the Prince of Rome, and he sang as the threads went to and fro. Whether 'tis hidden or whether it show, let the work be sound, for the Lord will know. Tall was the cobbler, and gray and thin, and a full moon shone where the hair had been. His eyes peered out, intent and afar, as looking beyond the things that are. He walked as one who is done with fear, knowing at last that God is near. Only the half of him cobbled the shoes, the rest was away with the heavenly news. Indeed, so thin was the mystic screen that parted the unseen from the seen, you could not tell from the cobbler's theme if his dream were truth or truth were dream. It happened one day at the year's white end. Two neighbors called on their old-time friend, and they found the shop so meager and mean, made gay with 100 boughs of green. Conrad was stitching with face a shine, but suddenly stopped as he twitched a twine. Old friends! Good news at dawn today! As the cocks were scaring the night away, the Lord appeared and dreamed to me, and said, I'm coming, your guest to be. So I've been busy with branches of fir. The wall is washed, and the shelf is shined, and over the rafter the holly twined. He comes today, and the table is spread with milk and honey and wheaten bread. His friends went home, and his face grew still as he watched for the shadow across the sill. He lived all the moments, o'er and o'er, and the Lord should enter the lowly door. The knock, the call, the latch pulled up, the lighted face, the offered cup. He would wash the feet where the spikes had been. He would kiss the hands where the nails were in. And then at last he would sit with him and break the bread as the day grew dim. While the cobbler mused, there passed his pain a beggar drenched by the driving rain. He called him in from the stony street and gave him shoes for his bruised feet. The beggar went, and there came a crone, her face with wrinkles of sorrow sown. A bundle of faggots bowed her back, and she was spent with the wrench and rack. He gave her his loaf and studied her load as she took her way on the weary road. Then came to his door a little child, lost and afraid in the world so wild, in the big, dark world. Catching it up, he gave it the milk in the waiting cup and led it home to its mother's arms, out of the reach of the world's alarms. The day went down in the crimson west, and with it the hope of the blessed guest. And Conrad sighed as the world turned gray. Why is it, Lord, that your feet delay? Did you forget that this was a day? Then soft in the silence, a voice he heard. Lift up your heart, for I kept my word. 3 times I came to your friendly door. 3 times my shadow was on your floor. I was the beggar with bruised feet. I was the woman you gave to eat. I was a child on the homeless street.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lily Tennyson, and tonight I will be reciting The Raven, stanzas 1 through 8, by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." And the silken, sad. Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here, I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stood a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Paula's just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore.
Can we just give them one more big round of applause? Such an incredible job. I find myself laughing and feeling emotional and smiling and just so many different emotions as I was listening. Really, really, really well done. Okay, the judges are going to spend a few minutes deliberating, so we do ask that everyone step right outside. We have water, we have some refreshments, and then I will come outside and invite you back in when we have our winner and runner-up. Thank you.
doesn't have bragging. I don't know. It's just so pressuring. I'm just so scared.
This is more
Go to this side. Go to this side. Go to this side.
I'm sad because this is 5th grade.
I like being in the middle. The smallest is always in the middle. Smallest.
Guys, come on this side. We're gonna make it even.
Gosh. Hey, look, the camera.
Do what camera?
Oh, the camera. Yeah, the camera.
We're watching this live. We're on TV.
We're on TV. I'm famous.
Yeah,
I think all of us
We're
are.
on YouTube.
Is it on right now? Blah, blah. No. It is not on. Let me check. No, it's not on.
It makes such a bad.
No, it's on. Go.
Yeah, it is on.
I just blew. I feel like we're missing one. Well, we did, don't. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, we're missing somebody.
No? Oh, yeah, there you
Oh
go.
yeah.
I can count in French. I learned French. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's it. And then that's 12. Close enough.
Okay. We wanted everyone to be up on stage so that we could give you, first of all, one more big round of applause. You need to go near the microphone. Sorry, thank you. You all have worked so hard. You have spent months this year memorizing poems, reciting, and getting coaching. You've been fine-tuning your poems, and here you are now. You've recited it for everyone. You've done an incredible job. I hope you feel very proud of yourself because this is a really big accomplishment. Okay, we are going to begin by announcing the runner-up of the competition. So this is like the second place. The runner-up for today's competition, the Archway Bard competition, is River Tabor. Congratulations, River. Congratulations, River. Now, to pass off the first place plaque, we actually have last year's Bard, Eleanor Patient. Come on up, Eleanor. You can come by me. You have to be near the microphone. Eleanor was last year's Bard winner, and so to pass the baton, she is actually going to be handing off the award to this year's winner. So Eleanor, I'm going to go ahead and hand you the plaque, and then when I announce the name, you can hand it to them. Okay, are you ready? All right. Our first place winner of the 2025 Great Hearts Archway Bard competition is Leah MacArthur. Congratulations, Leah. Congratulations, River, and congratulations to all of you. Now, I know that we wanted a picture taken. Do we still need to do that? Yes. Okay. How would you like them to stand?
They can stand in a row just in between the two columns. If we can switch in.
Oh, perfect. Okay, Eleanor, why don't you and I step off, and then you guys can kind of like step in a little bit, scoot back a bit. Yep.
Can we move the microphone? Sorry.
What? The microphone. Oh, yes. Thank you, of course. That doesn't make for a good picture.
All right, big smiles, everyone. Looking this way.